Today's Grand Parents are over there watching Disney's Haunted Mansion. Now this is actually Disney's second attempt at making a Haunted Mansion movie. They tried once back in 2003 with Eddie Murphy and actually did quite well at the box office, but was panned critically. I mean, like really bad, like awful. And so now, decades later, Disney decided to resummon a new version. And to be honest, the only reason I saw this movie was because of Owen Wilson. I am a bit of an Owen Wilson fan. So needless to say, I wasn't very excited for this movie. It was one of those movies that was announced and I was like, I guess I'll see that, I guess. And just to clarify, I have seen the original Haunted Mansion. And my scene I watched it a decade ago, I remember like 3 scenes from the movie. So I don't really have any nostalgia for the movie or the ride itself, because I'm too poor to go to Disney World. So I went this movie purely just wanted to see if it was a good movie or not. And now having watched the Haunted Mansion, it's good. It's not great or anything, there are definitely some flaws, but I do think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. First of all, the mansion itself, which is probably the most important thing about a Haunted Mansion movie, well, the Haunted Mansion, it's not really creepy, but I actually like that. Since the Haunted Mansion is scary, they actually had to focus on making the ghost scary, and that's what gets the scare factor. And speaking of scares, this movie isn't really scary. This movie just sort of has creepy tension, not really any major scares. I guess some little kids might get a little scared, but it's not really a scary movie. It's like a spooky comedy. So I'm going to think it's going to be a big, like, Disney kind of their first horror movie. No, this is a comedy with some spooky tendencies. Speaking of comedy, the humor in this film, it can be hit or miss. Sometimes it's actually really funny and I get a good laugh. Other times they try to be funny, it just doesn't really land that well. Actually, I would say mostly when this film comes to the actors themselves, just them being them. Like, whether they're actually trying to be funny or not, just the way they talk, for most part, most of them are very funny. Like Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, they have funny voices, and the way they say certain things is just, it's very funny. I can pretty much guarantee Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito are the funniest things about this movie. I got some good laughs out of them. But of course, the movie called The Haunted Mansion are going to be ghosts. And the ghosts in this movie, honestly, they're kind of generic, but that's a good thing. I mean, they do have, like, very unique designs, but their tendencies, like, what they actually do is very just like, oh, yeah, I've seen this in, like, 5 other ghost movies before. These are the ghosts that you think of would be inside the Haunted Mansion. Like, when you think of the Haunted Mansion, you think these ghosts. But again, that's actually, in my opinion, a good thing, because the story of how the mansion got haunted in the first place is honestly really compelling and really unique, and honestly, it's just really good. So it makes up for the fact that the ghosts are nothing special. And this movie does have a main ghost villain, and honestly, it's pretty generic, but the way they actually became a villain is super unique. I've never seen anything done like it before. The villain itself, like his personality, super just like, oh yeah, I've seen that 5 bajillion times. But how he actually became this villain is super unique, so I honestly pretty like him. Pretty like him is not a sentence that I don't think anyone's ever said. And this movie does try to have some emotional moments, and for the most part, it works, but it takes a very long time for it to actually be effective. I feel like if you had a little bit more scenes at the beginning before I actually got to the mansion, especially with like the main character, because this is really where the emotional parts of the movie coming out is the main character of the film. They really try to make this like big emotional moment, actually quite a few moments, and I feel like you could have worked just a few more scenes just building up this character. But as I said, the emotional moments do end up working, but it does take a while. But also the characters are very likable and very well acted. Honestly, the best part about this whole movie. And here's something that's not even about the actual movie itself, just about the theater that I was in. There was a kid running down the seat aisles of the theater, just running around the entire theater room in general, and it was actually pretty funny. So overall, the Haunted Mansion is good. And I would say if you're interested in this movie, then go check it out. And once you have seen the Haunted Mansion, write this video and comment what you guys thought of it. But here's now, bye-bye, Scarlet Thacker. Okay, I actually forgot to mention this, but there's like not even a minute-long scene, and it's a fight scene between Danny DeVito and Owen Wilson, and it's beautiful, it's glorious, and I know I need that in my life, but now that I've seen it, it's beautiful and glorious, I love it, and you need to see it.